camera right now. Hey Nick, welcome son.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to make sure that everybody starts populating on here. I've been telling everybody to come on board, so it's been enough promotion of it. So this
Yeah,
is going to be a
definitely
good one.
have.
I look forward to conversing with you about it. So let's not waste time.
All right.
Um, the first thing I want to say is welcome aboard, everybody that's coming on. Um, if you have any questions for my son, please don't hesitate to ask them. If you want to make comments for questions to be asked, please don't hesitate to ask. That we can answer all the questions.
Yes,
Now,
we can.
yes, we can. The purpose of this live is to deal with basically 3 bullet points that I have for you and yours. The first bullet point is, where was Nick in the beginning? Because he wasn't always the guy with the physique. He wasn't always the one that gained 83 pounds of muscle in 4 years. He wasn't always articulate. He wasn't always confident. He wasn't always inspiring. He wasn't always motivating. He didn't always have the ability to play the guitar or play for a band or play for his church or have high academics. He wasn't always like that. So the first bullet point that I'm going to address after I make a brief statement is where he was. Then we're going to go into where he is now. So that kind of brings us up to how he got from where he was, being overweight, literally being obese, to losing weight, to then putting on muscle. Because many people think that he was born with the genes or with the genetics. He was already a big guy. He was already muscular. He will tell you his story as to what he was, and he was not that. Then we're going to go into where he's going. What is he going to use this muscle, this mentality, this logic and reasoning, his academics? What is he going to use it all for? Where is he going? So the first thing I want to say to the viewers, and I want to thank, let me see, we got Lorraine, and I got Rico, my man Rico. We got Gregory. Hey, welcome to this
Well,
Fatherhood Live. This live toward fatherhood, maybe some of you are not fathers. I don't know. Maybe you are. But I wanted to bring attention to fatherhood. I wanted to bring attention to fathers that believe in fatherhood. I don't think there's any father, really, truthfully, that wants to be a bad father, that wants to be an absent father, that wants to be a father that has to be pushed and prodded to do what's right for their children. I wanted to be the father that said, you know what? I am the original mentor of my sons. I'm the original mentor of my daughters. And I want them to look at me as being the original, not somebody else. Hey, Cornelius, welcome. So get your questions ready, guys. Right? I hope you wrote something. I hope you brought a pad and paper to write some things down because my son's going to bring it. He's on the spotlight. I'm just setting it up. The first thing that needs to happen as a father, wherever you are, or as a potential father, wherever you are, is you have to make an assessment. You have to make a personal assessment. You have to take responsibility and make a personal assessment. So my first question to my son is, somewhere, somehow, someplace, you had to look in the mirror, you had to walk up a flight of stairs, you had to make a decision as to where you were,
yes.
so you could know where you wanted to be. So what decision, when did you make the decision? When did you realize? He said, you know what? This is not the way I want to look. I don't want this anymore. I know you talked about it in the past when you were walking with your friends. And you said you wanted to be swole, but it had to be more than that. Yeah, okay, you wanted to be swole. Okay? But I knew that the fact that you couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs without being out of breath. I remember you not being able to ride a bike. I remember us trying to play outside. People said, well, you just have your kids play outside. That's all I need to do is play outside. That's all well and good. But when you played outside, as I remember, you didn't have the energy to play outside. Okay? I
That's
remember
true.
that. I remember that. And people say, well, all you got to do is do exercise and have your kids play outside and get out in front of the TV and all that stuff. That's all well and good. But when they get to the point where they're not at the point they need to be, that's not going to work. They just can't do that and be where they need to be. So tell us on the first point, how you made a determination that it was time to do something different. And at what age were you?
Well, the first time I did that, I was about 11 years old, and I was going to a private school. I used to always get picked on and made fun of for how unathletic I was, which I don't believe that's right. So I'm gonna set the standard. I don't, believe that anybody should be picked on for what, they look like. But let's face it, it happens with kids all the time. So the first time, that was pretty much 11, and I made the decision that I wanted to lose weight. And so I did that. By the time I was about 12, I had lost about 60 pounds. And then the second time I wanted to build muscle seriously. I was I'd say about 14. So for about 2 years, I would kind of just dabble in weight training. Like I remember my stepdad, he had like a little, it's like not P90X, but it was like one of them little incline weight benches that with a cable on it. It was like very rudimentary exercise equipment. So I would use that every now and then, but not religiously. And that really wasn't working for me. So then eventually, I remember I visited my dad in about 8th grade and went to New York. And we worked out, I think, for the first time. And obviously the weights were it was very heavy. It hurt. It was painful. But I was determined that I wanted to build some muscle. So he showed me all the ropes of stuff that we'll talk about in this video, like how to build muscle and what I needed to be eating and my mindset that I needed to have in order to do that to reach my goal. So I would say the first time I was 11 that I made a decision to lose weight. And then the second time I was about 14 after the workout that I had with my father in New York.
That's real good. Because I remember working out with you, and I was marveling at the fact that you had this determination as to what you wanted to get done. I had never seen that before in you. I was like, wow, he's serious. You have children, those of us that have had children, some of us and some adults too, they talk right, but they walk left.
That's right. That's right.
They sort of kind of want something. Yeah, I want to lose weight, but
no, you can't. You can't kind of want.
But I think I'm going to try this, and it's like they haven't decided. They haven't decided. Let me tell you something. If you're hanging off a cliff and somebody reaches their hand down to grab you off a cliff, you have to decide to accept their hand to pull you up from the cliff so you don't fall. That's a decision. You can't be wishy-washy about it.
No.
You can't be sometimes thinking about it. Like right now, here we are at almost the end of December. And there are people right now that are looking in the mirror and they're saying, because the mirror doesn't lie.
No, mirror doesn't lie.
People tell tales, but mirrors don't lie.
I was saying all the time.
I mean, that's it. That's the bottom line. Okay. So they're deciding as to I haven't lost the weight yet. I know I said I was going to lose weight last. Man, I just love food so much. I can't do it. I mean, it can't be done. Let me tell you something. If I made a special announcement right now to anybody on this live that wants to lose, say, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, that if you did it in 6 months, you would get $100,000 if money is your motivator, I promise you, you'd lose the weight. So it's not whether you want to lose it, it's whether being motivated to lose it, and you'll do whatever you got to do, come hell or high water, to lose the weight. It's just not significant enough for you yet. You can go ahead and deviate and eat some of this or do some of that, or maybe I'll do this. And I'm focusing on what you eat right now. I'm not focusing on exercise yet. Because everybody seems to focus on exercise. It's exercise. If I had time to exercise, I would lose weight. If I had time to exercise, I could do it. If I went to the gym, I could get it done. If I did this, if I did that. And they totally absolve the responsibility of nutrition. Like nutrition is just a little passing thing. I can eat anything I
That's
want to
exactly.
eat. I can eat all the macaroni and cheese I want to eat. I can eat all of this over here I want to eat. But, you know, if I just had the exercise, I could get away with it. So now we transition to point number 2. And point number 2 aligns with what I just finished saying is after you made the decision that you wanted to be muscular, after losing 60 pounds, which is a whole lot of weight, you started getting involved with I introduced you to the right nutrition. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's why he lost the weight. It was what he ate. It wasn't me running him as a drill sergeant down the road with a big ball and chain. He made a decision to eat.
No, it
Made a
wasn't that.
decision to eat the right stuff. Here's
I
it was
didn't
no
even I didn't
secret.
even exercise when I from like 11 to 12. I didn't even exercise at all.
So you lost 60 pounds and didn't do no exercise.
No.
All right. So it had to be what you ate or didn't eat. Because I remember,
It was
let
a
me
lot
tell
of
you,
what I
ladies and
didn't
gentlemen,
eat. Yeah.
I remember feeding my daughter and my son McDonald's all the time. When we went to McDonald's, I gave you the chicken McNuggets. I gave you those tasty French fries, and you had to wash it down. You had to
With a
wash it down
McFlurry.
with a McFlurry or a Coke back then or whatever. How would you not gain weight?
Is
How
that
would your
well? We
body
know
not
that when
be?
kids gain weight, it's usually the parents are the ones that have facilitated the children gaining weight. Just like if you see your kids, a bunch of kids that are athletic, it's because the parents have drilled their kids to be athletic. So it's a misconception that it's the kids' fault for being overweight because it's usually the parents that control what type of eating habits and exercise that the children will do as they grow up.
Exactly. They facilitated. I facilitated you and your sister being overweight. I take full responsibility for it. And then so subsequently, I had to take full responsibility as a father to fix it. I had to set the stage. Now, you didn't eat cabbage and greens and become a vegetarian to lose weight, did you?
No,
Okay. You didn't go ahead and starve yourself to lose weight, did you?
no,
You didn't go out and run 5, 6 miles a day as a preteen to lose weight, did you?
no. I did no exercise.
So, as you said, you didn't do any exercise. So it was about your eating. Because there are people on this live right now that are older than you. Because right now, there's somebody on this live right now, I guarantee it. They're looking for an excuse. So the first thing they're going to say is, well, he was young. He young. Anybody
Yeah, I
can do
heard that
that when
all
you're
the
young.
time. I heard it all the time.
Anybody can do it when you're young. Anybody can do it when you're young. It's like a broken record. So if you were older, you wouldn't be able to do that. You know, if you wouldn't be able to do that if you were older, looking for an excuse, and then I say looking for an excuse. Well, he didn't have a job, so he had all the time in the world to
Like,
get this
like what
done.
did that have to do with anything?
I'm like, all of these excuses, man. If you want to lose weight, you can lose weight.
That's exactly right.
Okay? If you want to lose weight, you can lose weight. If you want to build muscle, you can do it. It just has to be how significant is it to you to get it done?
That's exactly right.
Is it do or die? Or is it just, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. It's not a big deal. So we got to the point of your second point where you made the decision to finally go ahead and put the muscle on. Tell the viewers what your typical days were once you decided, your workout regimen when you got to the gym, how difficult sometimes it was for you to get to the gym, how you always loved going to the gym, but sometimes there were days you didn't like going to the gym. How did you navigate
Well, I would be honest. I would say
those
90%
feelings?
of the time, not this is a misconception is that people tend to think that a muscular person likes going to the gym or that they like doing certain things. Believe it or not, when most of the time when I was in eighth grade to about 12th grade, when I was riding my bike to the gym and whatnot, I actually did not enjoy working out because it was painful. I actually did not enjoy it, but I enjoyed the results of putting on muscular weight, and I enjoyed the results of my sleeves fitting. I enjoyed the results of what I did So I did it even though I didn't enjoy riding my bike 2 miles in the heat to get to the gym, even though I didn't enjoy riding back home another 2 miles back from the gym, even though I didn't enjoy having to sacrifice what I wanted to eat to, eating like I had to eat like oatmeal and protein, and I cut out bread and I cut out sugar and I cut out fast food. I didn't enjoy doing all those things, but the results that I retained from it, I enjoyed that. So that's why I did it anyway. And so my typical day would pretty much be I'd wake up in the morning, I'd get my protein shake, go to school for 7, 8 hours. Then I come back home, usually around about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I do a little ab routine at home. Then I'd ride my bike to the gym, no matter what the weather was outside. There were some days
Even
I
when it was
rode.
cold?
Hmm?
Even when it was cold? I mean, freezing outside?
Oh yeah. Oh, that didn't. The grind never stops. I remember this one time I rode my bike to the gym and it was snowing. And I rode back to the gym and it was sleeting when I rode back from the gym. And I went to the gym the next day after that. So but it was because I wanted it that bad. And my message to anybody who wants to lose weight, it's the same principle if you want to lose weight or if you want to gain muscle. If you want it bad enough, you'll do whatever you got to do. And I'm a classic example of that. You'll ride your bike to the gym, and if it's negative 40 degrees outside, or you abstain from eating pizza and fast food even when all your family members are eating it, if you want it bad enough. So, and I did all this and I was like 13, 14 years old, and I didn't have, all my peers, they weren't muscular. They weren't, reading personal development. They weren't doing all of that. So I had to be my own influence. So that's why I did what I did. I made the decision at 14. I wanted to be muscular. So I did whatever I had to do every day consistently to make that happen. And I've manifested the results of it.
Well, and here's the thing. I hear people, sometimes I've heard it, I have heard it, and it's not putting anybody down. I'm just very, very passionate about getting stuff done. Hey, people say, well, you know what? I can't work out by myself.
I hear
I need
that's the
somebody
number
to
one
push
thing I
me.
hear. It's the number one thing I hear in the gym.
I mean, how can you push yourself? How can you motivate yourself? How can you inspire yourself to work out? I got to have somebody there to push me.
I did it for
I
4 years
need
all
that.
by myself.
4 years of working out all by yourself. So let me
Actually,
go
I
back a
still do
second.
it now. So it's actually been 7 years of working out by myself.
By yourself. No workout partner.
No,
No
I'd
sparring.
have workout partners here and there, but it wasn't because I wanted them to be my workout partner. It was because they wanted to work out with me. And usually after about 2 weeks, they'd quit anyway. So
Yeah, because they don't have the same work ethic that you do. Well, let me go back to your weight loss journey for a second. You mentioned three things that were critical that enabled you to lose weight. That if people just did that, they could lose weight, but they're not willing to lose that. The number one substance on the planet that we are addicted to as a nation is sugar.
right. Yeah, sugar too.
To this day, I treat sugar like anthrax. Okay? Sugar is the most beat up stuff. You have some ketchup on a hamburger, there's sugar in the ketchup.
That's right.
Okay? No doubt. There is sugar in a lot of substances that we eat if we allowed it to seep in. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to lose weight, number one substance that you got to get out of your environment, that you have to make the adjustment, if you want to get shredded, if you want to lose weight, is sugar. Number two, he mentioned something about bread, because bread is carbohydrates. It's a very simple carbohydrates for energy.
It's pretty
But
much
there
the
are other
same thing.
carbohydrates that it basically is the same thing as sugar. So if you have to make, I'm not saying you got to cut bread out so you can lose weight, but if you want to lose weight, I mean,
And then
it
you cut
seems
it
that
all.
those who cut bread out, you lose weight. So
No doubt.
you cut bread out, you cut sugar out. What was the other substance that you mentioned? You said bread, sugar,
Like
and you drink
fast.
a lot of water and
Yeah,
fast
drink a lot
food.
of water.
Fast food. Fast food will impact your pocket.
It
This
will.
is a typical
You'll
people.
go bankrupt.
This is a typical diet for most Americans. They go to work in the morning, okay? They don't eat breakfast because they're not hungry. So they don't eat it. So now they put their body instantaneously into starvation mode,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then they go to work or school or whatever, Lunchtime comes, I got to get I don't have time to eat. I got to get my fast food in. Meanwhile, between lunch and breakfast, there was no snack. Or if there was a snack, it was at a vending machine. Or it was a soda. Or I had people tell me, I had breakfast, man. Had me a cup of coffee and a donut. That's not breakfast.
No.
Let me say that again. That is not breakfast. So then they have a fast food. They have a Taco Bell. They have a hamburger. They have some fried. They have something that's really, really fast, which digs into their pocket. So they spent money for that. And consequently, they do this every single day when they work, 5 days a week, sometimes 6, maybe 7 for some people. So now between lunch and dinner, there was no healthy snack. Maybe it was a vending machine. Maybe it was a soda. Got to get that soda in, man. Or a diet soda, which is like,
yeah, you get a diet like those aren't any better.
They're not even any better. So but I get a soda in, so I got to satisfy that craving because I'm beginning to die. I'm falling asleep, so let me perk myself up. So they have a soda or some garbage, a candy bar or something in the afternoon. Now we are hungry. We're really hungry now. I'm gonna tear me some dinner up.
Mm-hmm.
So they come home and maybe they cook. Maybe they cook, or maybe they throw something in the microwave, they heat up or whatever. It's devoid of protein. But it's not devoid of carbohydrates. I guarantee
we got plenty of that.
There's some sugar. So plenty of carbohydrates. There's gonna be some pasta. There's gonna be some spaghetti. Okay, I'm gonna get that in me because I'm hungry. So you eat that pasta, you eat that bread, you eat that macaroni and cheese, you eat that. You don't have any good carbohydrates. Forget about the sweet potatoes. We don't want any of that. Forget about the broccoli and squash. We don't want any of that stuff. I'm gonna get some stuff that's gonna. Then maybe they go shopping when they're hungry, which is
you never should do that.
You're done, all right? So now you have dinner. By the time you cook dinner, it's late at night. It's about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before you go to bed. So now you've starved your body all day, and now if you went out and ran a marathon, you wouldn't lose weight now because the body says, I'm not giving up nothing. Whatever they give me, I'm not going to burn anything. So they eat dinner, and they repeat this pattern every single day. They don't eat breakfast. They don't feel like it. They don't drink water. I've asked people, how much water do you drink? I mean, how many bottles of water? I used to ask how many people always used to tell me, I drink plenty of water. Until I started asking them, how many bottles of water do you drink a day? Then I get like a deer in the headlights look. Mm-hmm. That's when you really find out how much water people drink.
1, 2, what you would say, like 2 Dasani bottles or something.
I mean, just you barely practicing drinking that, right? So what you did was you had your protein shake in the morning. Protein enables you to build muscle, or it has a sufficient amount of carbohydrates with it that gave you some energy. Then you would have your snack. Then you would have your protein drink or whatever after your workout. Mm-hmm. Then you would have a snack. Then you would have your meal in the evening. That right there, just following that regimen right there will allow a person to lose weight.
Yeah, I did that. It was literally that simple. Did it for lose weight, and I did it.
But typically, people say, "Well, I gotta have something to chew on. I can't drink shakes. Yeah, I gotta do this. I can't do that. I gotta do this. I can't do that." These I can'ts keep people overweight. Keep people not. It's just, and if you don't have to go to the gym, you can work out at home. But I don't have anybody that push me at home.
I've heard that so many times about people talking about how they don't have anybody to push them. And my thing to that, if you're one of those people that says that, my thing is you're gonna have to find a way to push yourself, because if you rely on other people to push you, you may be able to lose the weight, but you're not gonna be able to keep it off, because ain't nobody gonna be pushing you when it's 12 o'clock at night and you want to go to Wendy's and get a McFlurry. Your friends are not going to be there to push you in. So you need to find, like Eric Thomas said, you need to dig down in and find that motivation from within, and let something within your own self motivate you to lose that weight and keep it off, than trying to let your friends or your coworkers or your mother or your dad, I don't know who motivates you to do that. You got to find something. I think I just lost somebody probably saying this, but it's the truth. You have to find something other than other people to motivate you. If you just have yourself motivate, if you just have other people motivating you, you're not going to be able to keep any muscle or weight loss or anything.
And that's exactly right. Even though I mentored you to go ahead and put on muscle, and let me touch on that for a second, because this is about fatherhood. This live is about fatherhood. As we move into step 3, moving into the next step, your first stage was realizing you needed to do something. Your second stage was doing something about it. Your third stage is now you're where you need to be. How did my influence get you to this point, and where are you going to go now? What are you going to do now?
Basically, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. And as far as with my nutrition and my body, like I go through phases where sometimes I may want to cut, or sometimes like right now I've been bulking for a while and I've gotten strong as an ox through doing that. And in the future, like I'll likely cut. When I do that, usually I message people something that my dad got me on. I'll message somebody who is like in physique comps and they know what they're doing, because even though you can have a lot of knowledge about a subject, you can never get too much of that knowledge and get it from people who have also done what you're trying to do. So I'll do that. And as far as like, I'll probably end up getting into personal training, and because I have to do that for my internship anyway, for my exercise science degree. So I'll certainly be doing that, and I'll make sure I will get a paid internship, so I'll be getting paid to personal train people, and that's probably the next year or so. And I'm just going to keep on motivating people and just telling them just to fight past their excuses, and not to let those run their life, because if you let your excuses run your life, then you're just not going to be able to get anything done.
Let me make one small correction to what you just said, son. You said you're going to keep on motivating people. No, you're not.
Oh, you're right. You can't motivate anybody.
You're going to keep on inspiring people.
You're right about that.
People self-motivate themselves. That's what I'm getting at. Nobody motivates you to do nothing. They inspire you for you to motivate yourself. Okay? And that's what I did with you. I didn't motivate you. I inspired you based upon, you can't motivate anybody. I mean, they call them motivational speakers, but in the bottom line is they're inspiring people to do something within themselves. And that's important. So we've taken you from where you were. We've taken you to where you are, and now we're taking you to where you're going. What are the basic exercises that you do in the gym in regards to sets and reps?
Okay, this is another common question I get. It's simple. I do 12, 10, 12, 10, and 8, something that my father, he taught me. That was literally probably the very first thing he taught me in the gym, was the set 12, 10, 8, 3 sets, and then you just compound on that with what exercises you want to do. So I work the major muscle groups of my body, so my chest, shoulders, triceps, biceps, leg, quads, etc. And I do 12, 10, 8, usually in sets of 3. So I may not do 3 sets for that muscle group. I may do 15 sets for the muscle group, but I do them in sets of 3s, so I can do 12, 10, 8. I don't do a set of 5 like I see in the gym all the time, or a set of 1 or 2 reps, because that doesn't build muscle. All that does is just tear up your joints, which I see a lot of people my age. They go in the gym and they'll get on like a bench rack, and they'll do like 3 reps on bench, and I learned a long time ago, particularly with my dad's guidance, that because I used to do that when I first started working out, that the best way to go about it is higher reps, lower the weight, get your form right, do 12, 10, 8. I usually do about 10 to 15 sets per muscle group of an exercises I'll do. Could be bench, pull-up. I do weighted dips. I do bicep curls. I do preacher curls. It really just, sometimes I mix it up. It really just depends on the day, but I make sure I hammer in on, I have more of like a Kai Green approach to it. It's like some days I may go in there and I may not lift as much weight, because I feel like I would be better if I focused on my form more, so I'll do that. While other days I'll lift more weight and I'll kind of cheat on the last few reps to stimulate growth. So you kind of just, you can't really be with building muscle. You can't really be super rigid about it. You kind of have to not go with the flow, but you kind of just have to see what your body is telling you for that day, stick to a regimen and do that.
All right, I appreciate that. I think people have probably got a lot, especially those that are experienced in lifting weights. For a beginner, this is for a beginner. For a beginner that wants to get involved with weight training, or a young man or a young woman, where do you suggest they start?
A beginner, I would suggest I wouldn't well, I can tell what I did, so I can't because I understand everybody is different. But this is what I did as a beginner. As a beginner, I would usually work out about an hour and a half, hour to an hour and a half, and I would work the major muscle groups of my body doing compound movements. Now, what does that mean? For a beginner, I would pretty much recommend just in the gym. We're not on nutrition right now, but just for the gym, I would recommend you go in the gym, you make sure you get a pad, so a piece of paper, write down the major exercises that you. I'm trying to think of a way of wording it. Write down the. It's kind of hard for me to explain. So I'm not trying to get too technical with it because that confuses people. Let's say the first thing you need to do is you need to work corresponding body groups. So you don't need to just work your full body when you go in the gym, which is something that a lot of people do incorrectly. You need to have something like what I did biceps and back, because when you work your biceps, you're working your back, and when you work your back, you're working your biceps. So if you were working back and biceps on Monday, then you would have a pad, right? 12, 10, 8 down for each set that you're going to do, and do about, I would say, 9 sets for your biceps and 9 sets for your back, and of 12, 10, 8. And then that's Monday. Then let's say you want to rest Tuesday and go to Wednesday, and I don't know, maybe you want to work legs. Then you do the same thing. Like, let's say when you do like 9 sets for your quads, 9 sets for your hamstrings, and maybe 9 sets for your calves or something. Write it all down on a piece of paper, and go through it as you work out, and then just do the same thing until you've worked all the muscle groups in your body for that week. And that's pretty much all I did for years, and it worked for me.
So though, in a typical week, how many rest days did you get in a typical week when you first started?
I'd say probably about 2 or 3.
So you had like a 4-day on, 3-day off kind of thing going on?
Yeah.
Or was it intermingled, mixed up?
I mean, for a while, I experiment with both of them. At one point, I was doing, I go Monday, then I'd skip Tuesday, then I go Wednesday, then I'd skip Thursday, then I go Friday, then I go Saturday. I did that for probably about a year or two. Then I switched. I think I lifeguarded, and I couldn't do it like that. So then I did Monday through I think I did Monday, Tuesday. I would skip Wednesday, and then I would do Thursday, Friday. So I did that. It really just depends on. I would say if you're beginning, I would say you'd want more rest days. So I would say, well, you wouldn't want more rest days, but you would want to put your rest days closer to after you finish worked out. So I would say, work out Monday, rest Tuesday, then do Wednesday if you're beginning out. And then as you get more muscular growth and more experience, then you can kind of do it how I do it, which I'll usually go maybe Monday through Thursday or something. So that's kind of like what I would do if you're a beginner.
Well, so now you're advanced at this point. I mean, clearly advanced. You go Monday through Thursday. That's 4 straight days. And what about the people that go every single day? I mean, they go every day.
You don't want to do that. There's actually a guy I was hanging out with. He actually was a big dude, but he would go he tried to go 6 or 7 days a week, and I didn't tell him anything because people you kind of step on people's shoes and they get defensive and stuff. But I was just thinking to myself, because he was trying to ask me how did he get his arms bigger, and and I'll try to tell him, hey, you want to, work it like this and work it like that. And he continued wanting to go every day. Actually, I think he would work his arms every day. And you don't want to do that particularly. You can kind of get away with it if you're more of an advanced lifter, because you see them do like, or if you're on steroids, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. Then you can go every day. But if you're not advanced lifter or you're not on steroids, you should go like 4 days a week, 5 at the most, and leave it at that. So that way you give your body rest so it can recover.
Yeah, because your body doesn't grow while you're in the gym. It grows while you rest. Isn't that right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, son, I mean, we've been on here a while. Looking at my little timer here. We got 35 minutes in. I'm looking to see if anybody has any questions, because there are people on here that may want to ask a couple of questions of you. I'll wait a second or so.
Yeah, ask the
question. If I see any questions populate, I mean, ask the questions. You got a 20-year-old young man here who was once obese in his preteen. Then he lost weight by the time he was 14. Got skinny as I don't know what. Then from 14 until 20, he's put on an impressive amount of lean muscle. His academics have skyrocketed as a result of it. So when people tell me, why is he putting on this muscle? Why is that important? I mean, look, he can put on as much as he wants if he's for what he's done with his academics. What's your GPA now, man?
My GPA this semester was a 3.7.
Okay, so his GPA, and it was at one time a 2.6. He can lift as much weight as he wants. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, he can get big as a doggone mansion. I don't care. You hear the way that he speaks. His confidence had to rise. It rose because of what he did with his body. So if you have children in your midst that don't have confidence, if you're hanging around, if you're an adult that doesn't have confidence, maybe you need to go to the gym.
Oh, yeah, the best thing.
Maybe you need to put some weight. Okay. And also what changed with you too was your methodology as to how you wrote down your goals, dreams, and aspirations, and how you track stuff. Because nothing's by accident with you. That changed too. So I'm still waiting for any questions. I don't see any questions. I guess people got a lot of stuff out of what you said, man.
That's cool.
This live video, I'm going to share on our Instagram page called. It's a fatherhood Instagram page that I'm always promoting, because I want to go ahead and let people know that I was the original mentor of my son. And if my son were to be asked who was your original mentor, he'd have to say his dad. Okay, he had other mentors, but each one of you that have children, you are their original mentor. You're the original one. If you're not, if they don't look at you as being the original mentor, what have you done that's enabled them to feel that way? So with that in mind, hey, that's it, man. I want to thank you. Since I don't see any questions, if you have any questions after this live is over with, I'm sure Nick will be able to answer them, or I'll be able to field them. Maybe we'll both answer the same question in our own way. But I'm gratified to know that Nick has really progressed to the point where he is right now. Now you're thinking about doing medicine, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so he went from just thinking about doing exercise science and having a PhD, getting a PhD in that, even before he became a freshman, to wanting to now perhaps get involved with medicine. That's pretty cool. And those of you that don't know, my son graduated high school at 17 years of age. He had to wait till 18 so he could walk across the stage and get his diploma. All right? So those of you that are just popping on, go back, please, and watch this important live and listen to what my son had to say at 20 years old. 20 years on the planet, literally almost 1/3 of my life.
Yeah, I got a long ways to go.
Long ways to go, And here's something else that's spectacular. This happened to me today, son. I found out that your grandfather, that you never met, my father's father, he lived to the ripe old age of 93 years old. So here I am sitting here, I'm about to be 60 years old come March. So I'm 59 right now. There's a propensity, there's a possibility that I can live 34 more years at least because of the genes rolling around in my body. Nobody knows when they're going to leave. That's why you have to maximize each day that you have.
Exactly.
But just knowing, I got that text today from one of my first cousins. My grandfather was born in 1883.
Wow. That's
He
a lot.
died in 1976. Dude, by my math, that makes him 93 years old when he died.
Wow.
Those are the kind of genes I have rolling around in my body. Those are the kind of genes that's rolling around in your body. That's why your body's like warm marble. There's a reason for it.
There is a
Your
genetic.
grandfather, I had to help your grandfather stand one day. He was using a cane at that point. He was heavy as lead. I'm like, how can a man this elderly be this heavy? Good God. But he taught my father, he taught your grandfather to be a carpenter. He taught your grandfather to build houses. He taught your grandfather to do plumbing and electrical work. He taught your other uncles to do carpeting and brick masons and all this stuff. He taught that. Plus, he came up in a time, in an era, where he couldn't even go in the front door of buildings. He had to go in the back door. He had to drink out of different water fountains. He came up in that era. And
Even
still,
in New York?
well, he wasn't in New York. He was in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's how it was then.
All right, that's how it was then. So he came up in that era, and he still had children that he taught those skills that were requested by all ethnicities to do good jobs on their homes and improvements. So even back then, when things were really, really different, that was the kind of mindset that he developed in his children. When I used to go see him, he would ask me questions. James, that's my real name. It's not Jim. James, can you tell me how long it takes for the sun's rays to get to the earth? Now, he's probably talking to me then when he was like in his 80s.
Wow.
He's asking me that he never even passed high school. And he's asking me these questions, these science questions, these math questions. They all did that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm this age. I'm supposed to know that. I'm thinking to myself, I'm supposed to know this question, but I don't know. So I would give him some BS answer, and he'd say, "Well, James, that's not true. You need to go look that up. But the real answer is this, this, and that." I was like, "Oh wow." I heard him preach one time and give a sermon. He counted up so high. I didn't know he was in the quadrillion and all these different terms. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know you could count that high. But that was the kind of mentality, that was the kind of strength that he possessed. He passed that on to me, and in so doing, it was passed on to you. So fathers, be the mentors to your children, be they male or female. Have them look at you as being the original mentor. Have them be able to be on a live with you one day, or whatever social media platform they decide to use. And enjoy the rest of your doggone day. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them. Please share this live with other people. Please go to our YouTube page. And son, hey, thank you, man. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thanks
everybody.